Welcome to a little mini-series that I like to call Character Quest. This is where I take a look at some complex and interesting characters that don't really get talked about. That, or people just don't understand their complexity. You know, it's been said time and time again, but I'm gonna say it again anyways. There are few adult shows as perfect as Futurama. Throughout its entire run, this show has never stopped in giving us amazing humor, wonderful concepts, and surprisingly lovable characters, even ones that you never thought would have been lovable at first glance. For example, Bender is a greedy, crime-addicted, violent, lecherous robot. Even taking his amazing sarcastic wit out of the equation, he's actually a really well-made three-dimensional character. We see that he cares a lot about his best friend Fry and will do anything to help make sure that they're gonna stay great friends. And of course, we see other relationships form, like with his illegitimate son. But it's not just Bender who gets some development. No. Pretty much any character of any importance gets at least one episode that fleshes them out, and thus, they all grow as the show goes on. Fry becomes more mature and developed when he ends up getting in a relationship with Leela, learns how to make sacrifice and be the bigger man. Farnsworth gets his backstory explored, and we see his relationship with his parents. We all know these episodes that take the characters and show them in a whole new light. Luck of the Friarish, Jurassic Park, The Late Philip J. Fry, Lethal Inspection. All of these are regarded as some of the best in the entire run of the show. Despite the show's popularity though, there is one character who does get the fleshed out treatment, but whose episodes are never put into this category. For whatever reason, they're never regarded as some of the best or most character changing. And that just baffles me. So, I'd say it's time we put this guy out in the spotlight. This is Dr. John Zoidberg. I bet you're wondering, what, are you kidding me, Zoidberg? Everyone knows about Zoidberg. Well, of course. We love his voice, we love his mannerisms, we love his dialogue, and we love the memes. Everyone loves the memes. But we don't really talk about Zoidberg's deeper character, now do we? Everyone treats him as a joke character, or just some guy who's meant to spew catchphrases, but he's a lot more than that. If you actually look deeper, you can see that there's a very complex and very hurt character within. Let's look at the basics. Zoidberg is a doctor who is employed by Planet Express, and the problem here is that he knows absolutely nothing about human anatomy, despite the fact that most of the people who work for Planet Express are in fact humans. Uh-oh. And it's because of his utter incompetency that nobody treats him with any respect. In fact, they downright hate the guy. No matter what, they always treat him like the butt of the joke, they use him as a tool if anything, and they make fun of him constantly, never showing him any sign of mutual friendship or respect. Despite the fact that Zoidberg feels like these people are his number one friends in the world. Even though they treat him like utter garbage, he still comes back to them every single time. He takes all their abuse and all their neglect and just carries on like it's normal. While his idiocy definitely has to have an effect on this, I'm gonna show you that it's more than just that. It's loyalty. Even though these people are understandably terrible to him, he's not gonna abandon them or leave them anytime soon, even if he does crave their friendship so desperately. How desperately? Well, in the episode The Prisoner of Benda, Zoidberg finds himself body swapped with Fry. And there's a wash bucket who is claiming to be Bender, but is actually a prince, but that's just a whole other complicated story that has nothing to do with this at hand. Even though it's very obvious that this person's an imposter, and it's kinda shown that Zoidberg knows this too, he doesn't care. He's willing to masquerade as Fry just so that he can have some semblance of a friend, someone that actually has mutual respect and interest in him, someone that won't run away or make horrible jokes at his expense. He is so desperate for love and attention that he'll just glob onto any cheap imposter, no matter how obvious they are. Sad, isn't it? Well, enough about that. Let's just get into the meat of the stuff here. We can see here that because Zoidberg is so desperate for friendship, he will take pretty much anything that these people throw at him, right? Well, yes. But as shown later on, he does have limits. In the episode Why Must I Be a Crustacean in Love, Zoidberg gets a sudden urge to get a mate. A very strong sudden urge. A very strong, dangerous sudden urge. So he goes back to his home planet and starts courting a girl named Edna. Edna, however, ends up falling in love with Fry, and Zoidberg is enraged. This one girl that he finally had a chance with, one that actually started to tolerate him, was taken away by one of his quote-unquote best friends. So he challenges Fry to a deathmatch, as you do, But right when he's about to kill that meatbag, he realizes he can't. Fry's one of his best friends. In his eyes, friendship is like a loyalty oath. He's not gonna give all that up just for Edna. Even if Fry, without intending to, took away the one girl that he ever really had a chance with up until this point, and the one way he ever could have been really happy, he's not about to ruin the quote-unquote good relationship he's had with Fry. Fry is his friend, and he doesn't want to throw away their friendship or hurt him just because of a girl. What, that example of loyalty is not good enough for you? Well, then let me direct you to the tip of the Zoidberg. We get a little bit of Farnsworth and Zoidberg's history in this episode. After a bad run-in with a space yeti, Farnsworth contracts a disease that'll turn him into a yeti later on in life. So, in order to combat this, he keeps Zoidberg around Planet Express in order to perform a mercy killing. Yes, that's the reason Zoidberg is employed at Planet Express. To pretty much go Snape against Dumbledore on Farnsworth and end his misery before it can begin. Naturally, this is a very difficult decision for Zoidberg. This is another one of his close friends, but one who also gave him a really good job and shown him unwavering loyalty in the past. Granted, now that has faded, but the memory is still fresh in his mind. This is an unbelievably difficult task for pretty much anyone to do, let alone someone who has this amount of history and dedication. But he'll still do it. He made that promise in the past, and he's not about to renege on it. No, no, no. Even if it's an unbelievably mentally trying task to do, and even if all the other employees think that he's become a cold-blooded killer, he's gonna keep going. He made this promise to a good friend, and he's gonna follow through on it. Nothing is gonna stop him. Of course, given the fact that this is not at all the final episode of the show, we know that Farnsworth makes it out okay in the end, right? Right. But before a cure was found, Zoidberg was gonna go through with this. He was gonna make sure that the professor's final wish was honored, no matter what the cost would be to the company or himself. And rounding out this video is the final episode I'll be talking about today. I feel that this one is the one that best represents Zoidberg's character and all that it has to offer. As you can tell, Zoidberg does not have a good life, and he's a doctor that has to live in a dumpster. Poor guy. Naturally, nothing good ever comes this guy's way. That is, until the episode Stench and Stenchability. After constantly being rejected by a bunch of women from all different kinds of species and planets, Zoidberg feels like he's at his breaking point, feeling that no one would ever love him, mostly because of his pungent aroma. I mean, come on, he lives in a dumpster. He's not gonna smell like a freshly cut meadow now, is he? Then one day, he meets someone who's actually able to ignore his flaw, or rather, not know about it. He meets a girl who has no sense of smell, despite the fact that she is a flower saleswoman. Because she's unable to smell his putrid scent, they end up bonding and falling in love, and it's the happiest Zoidberg has ever been. Finally, someone out there actually loves him for who he is. They're able to overlook all of his quirks and issues and actually accept him and make him feel happy about himself. This is something that has never really happened before. Sure, Professor Farnsworth has shown him some respect to the past, as seen in the tip of the Zoidberg, but that's all gone now. In fact, now Farnsworth is one of the ones who's most vocal about his hatred for Zoidberg. But this girl is different. She's not gonna leave him. She's not gonna make him feel terrible about himself. Not everything is gonna stay peachy keen, though. After all, this is television, and in television there always needs to be conflict. And there is. Just because this girl has never smelled anything doesn't mean that she doesn't want to. She does. In fact, it's always been her dream. She wants nothing more than to smell the flowers she sells, or to smell fresh bread in the morning. But of course, given that her nose doesn't work, she can't. Hey though, Zoidberg's a doctor. He can fix that for her, right? Yes he can, but there's a catch. Not that the procedure could go horribly wrong, but that he'll lose the one person that ever really cared about him. He fears that once she smells his aroma, she's gonna go run for the hills and never look back, just like everyone else has done when they've gotten close to him. This is the one person who ever really cared about him. And even though he can make her the happiest she's ever been, which he wants to do for her because she's already done that for him, doing so could mean that he'll never see her again, and that his heart will be broken, possibly never even able to be repaired. But he'll do it anyways. Making her happy is that worth it to him. He's willing to risk losing her just to make sure she can finally fulfill her dream. Of course, at the end, it does have a happy ending, but he didn't know that when he was doing that. Oh no, he thought this was going to be the end. But in one selfless move, he decided to put it all aside and do what he felt was the right thing to do. See, why is this episode never brought up in those lists of great episodes? Everyone always hears about Luck of the Friarish or Jurassic Bark or The Devil's Hands Are Out of Playthings or all those other ones I've mentioned. But why not Stench and Stenchability? Does a lot for Zoidberg's character and has a really good sense of emotion to it. Oh well, give it time, I suppose. So that is Zoidberg, a lonely, sad, miserable guy who, despite his incompetence, really has a strong sense of loyalty to all of his friends, even if it is unwarranted. Anything you do to him won't really change anything. He'll stay by your side forever and ever, never wavering in his dedication to you, his dear, dear friend. Want a good friend? Why not Zoidberg? Hey, fun fact, those words were never actually spoken in a Futurama episode. I don't even know where that meme came from, but I'm not gonna complain. I love that meme. So folks, that was Zoidberg. What do you think about Dr. Zoidberg? Did you agree with the points I brought up? What other episodes feature his character in a great, new, fleshed out light? Comment below and let me know because, hey, I'm always excited to hear what you guys have to say. Alright, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys next week.